Phan Dự xin kính chào quý khán thính giả của Sài Gòn Network Television và xin mời quý vị theo dõi phần phóng sự đặc biệt của chúng tôi. Thưa quý khán thính giả, trong phòng thầu của chúng tôi hôm nay có hai người rất là đặc biệt đến với chúng ta để nói về một vở hài kịch. Thưa quý vị, từ xưa tới nay khi mà nói đến Việt Nam thì chúng ta chỉ nghe những phim hay những chuyện nói về chiến tranh Việt Nam. Hôm nay chúng tôi giới thiệu đến quý vị một vở hài kịch trên sân khấu cũng nói về Việt Nam nhưng mà nói về với một cái hình thức rất là khác. Vâng, thưa quý vị, xin được giới thiệu với quý vị hai người kịch sĩ, diễn viên của vở kịch có tên là VIETGONE. Phan Dị nghĩ đó có thể dịch một cách nôm na là việc đã qua đi rồi hay là quá khứ đã qua rồi. Nhưng mà bây giờ xin giới thiệu với quý vị hai vị diễn viên của vở kịch này. First of all, thank you so much for coming to our program. It's kind of a little bit different between Vietnamese and English, but okay. Edward.
Yeah.
And VIETGONE.
Yes.
Okay. The two main roles in this play role. Okay. So first of all, introduce yourself to our audience and tell them what role you play.
Sure. Yeah. Hi. I play Quang. I'm part of the South Vietnamese Air Force. I'm a helicopter pilot. During the fall of Saigon, and we escape and end up in a refugee camp in America, and a lot of things happen in between that and at the camp itself, but then my best buddy Nhan and I, played by Viet, we go on a road trip across America and end up in California eventually.
All right, well, stop right there. Don't reveal so much secret now. Okay, so thưa quý khán giả, người kế đến chúng tôi rất là hân hạnh được giới thiệu với quý vị là anh VIETGONE.
Dạ, cảm ơn, xin chào. Tên em là Võ Quốc Việt. Em là người Tây Tử. Qua bên đây đóng trong cái show VIETGONE. Em chơi người tên Nhân.
Em đóng vai một người tên là Nhân.
Dạ, cảm ơn.
Okay.
So I play his best friend, Nhân, and essentially I tag along with him on this journey, and I'm not a sidekick. I'm his best friend, his best pal.
You mean friend of Quang?
Friend of Quang.
Okay.
Yes, I am friend of Quang, and along the journey of Quang's story and how the playwright's mom Tong meet, I'm just in and out of his storyline about his life.
Okay. First of all, the show was written by Quy Nguyen.
Yep.
Okay. I heard that Quy was the son of a former Vietnamese soldier that they have to left the country when the war ended in 1975. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we have yet to meet Quy Nguyen, but we appreciate that him have this story so that we can be here. Okay. So then either you to tell a brief the story of the play.
Quang and Hung escaped Vietnam right before the fall, and her story is that she saw this was going to happen, so she wanted to escape and save her mom at the same time.
Okay.
Her mom, who's played by Desiree Mi Jung, she plays the mother, and she plays the embodiment of like all her mothers,
right.
Where the children will always be somewhat like pissing our parents off.
Right.
And she does a wonderful job in doing that. And I've told her during the process of rehearsals, I go, you're so much like my mom. In the way that you yell and the way that you scold your daughter.
Okay.
So that's one aspect of the story.
She's hilarious.
She's amazingly hilarious. So you have Tong and Hung who come to Vietnam into Fort Chaffee. And in that time that she's there, Quang and Nhan show up at Fort Chaffee. And that's when Tong and Quang end up meeting.
Okay.
And that's where the story starts.
Okay, so you guys meet in Arkansas, in the refugee camp.
Yes.
Okay, the story. Yeah, where you met there.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so we don't want to reveal too much because we want the audience to go see the show.
Sure.
However, we have to mention that, like I said in Vietnamese, that so far we hear anything related Vietnam is a war, it's just a war, and you know, sometimes it's not true fact of the war and so on and so forth. But this show right here is totally different. In what way?
Well, it's not about the war, you know. It's the backdrop. The war is the backdrop,
right?
And those are the circumstances. But it's really about these characters and their families and their loved ones, and specifically on my storyline, it's about meeting and connecting with, and then eventually falling in love with Tong. And there's some other storylines in there that I don't want to reveal, but it's unique in the sense that we're, especially either Vietnamese or Asian characters in films and in theaters are rarely the main characters, and if we are, it's just not done in the way. In this play, in VIETGONE, we're the heroes of our own stories,
right?
And we sort of grasp our lives, and we make what we can out of it, and we make the best that we can out of it, and it's a very bold play in that sense, and there's a lot of comedy, and there's a lot of drama, and there's a lot of different elements to it that are all, I think, very entertaining.
Right.
But without revealing too much, I think I can say that it is about a love story and about a road trip across America.
Right.
And there is rap songs in it, and
yep.
there's some
a
fights.
lot
There's
of
some fights
raps
in it, and there's some really great
and
stuff.
hippie and so on and so on. So okay, I wanted to understand, how do you feel? I know that you've already the actor, you play in many shows. How do you feel when you come to this play, specifically talking about Vietnam, the story?
Well, being Vietnamese and living in America, being Vietnamese American, when I saw the show, as an artist, it's rare when you can identify so well to a storyline. And when I saw the show, it hit every single emotion that I felt. It hit my similar views and perspectives of the Vietnam War, and it had a lot of personal things with my family, my own personal journey.
I see.
As well, especially two poignant scenes in the show, which I'm not going to reveal, but it was the same sentiment that a lot of our Vietnamese who've come out to watch the show agreed with, that it really tapped into this heart and soul of who we are as people, the people. And so this show is a really special show to me, because I think for the first time maybe ever, I feel like I'm very, very proud to be a Vietnamese actor.
To be Vietnamese, okay.
Yeah.
So were you born here, or were you born in Vietnam?
So I was born in the Philippines. My mom and dad escaped Vietnam in 1981. We were rescued by the U.S. Navy and brought to the Philippines, and that's where I was born. And then several months afterwards, they moved to Hawaii. So I grew up all my life in Hawaii.
I see, okay. Of course, we don't want to reveal the play, but we have to tell the audience why they have to see this show.
There's so little storytelling that really explains and depicts the view of the Vietnamese, and this play, I feel, is the beginning of showing the Vietnamese community and American community our view of what took place. And the show, if not educational, to educate people about the history, but to also open up that world to that we are not just about the war, we're people too, and that the journey and the story and the problems facing the characters are universal. It's not just about the race, but it's also the universal things about like falling in love, drama, fighting, the issues of what home means to you, that's why the show, I feel, is very important, especially for the Vietnamese community to come out and watch.
Right. Well, I just wanted to kind of translate what the director talk about this show in Vietnamese so that our audience, understand. So, thưa quý vị, bà đạo diễn Desimonia Chang nói rằng đây là một cái câu chuyện về những người anh hùng Á Châu, kể chuyện của chính họ chứ không phải là kể chuyện của họ để mà tâng bốc những hình ảnh anh hùng của người Mỹ. So this is a story that the Asian is a hero themselves.
Yeah.
Not to be the backdrop for the native people to be a hero, and so therefore the character and the unique thing of the show is it's a true, real life of a refugee people that facing with the new life and new obstacle and trying to merge into the new life in this country.
Yeah.
Is that
totally, yeah.
That's a very good, yeah.
Okay. And so therefore, why, in your opinion, think that not only the whole Vietnamese community need to see this show, but in particularly the millennials, those young people need to see this show? Why?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the style of the play, Quy utilizes a couple of cool devices, and one of them is that we, the heroes of the story, speak like this, like millennials, there's a lot of references to pop culture and things going on, and the Americans speak in broken English. So they say things like cheeseburger, waffle fries, and it's like as a substitute for them trying to communicate with us, right? Instead of the reverse, which is how we're usually represented, either having an accent or not being able to communicate correctly. So just it sort of turns the archetype on its head, right? And then there's a lot of just things that millennials are more aware of, maybe like rap as a form of protest art. Desimonia said something interesting about rap and why it's used in this play is that it's generally utilized by underrepresented and underprivileged populaces.
I see.
And it's integral to telling the story because they're not able to voice it in any other way,
right?
As some of these communities are.
Okay. So as a Vietnamese and as a young Vietnamese, represent the young generation, what are you going to tell the young generation why they should go see this show?
For any of you who've grown up in America and have more or less, maybe aggressively or passively faced identity crisis.
Yes.
Of being Vietnamese or American, I feel like this show will really speak to you in that it's going to speak to you in your language of English, but also speak to you in your language of Vietnamese.
I see.
In the spirit and the mentality of it. There's a character in the show in particular that every time she steps out, I immediately start having flashbacks of my own mom. And it makes you really start looking at, helps you to look at, you are Vietnamese, but you are living in America, but you are you.
That is very special.
That is very special.
That it's very deep.
It is individual, it is universal, it's spiritual.
Wow. I mean, maybe it's not too over-exaggerate to say, but the show probably will help heal some of the loss of identity that some young people feel. They don't know they're American, they don't know they're Vietnamese. What wrong would be in American Vietnamese?
Yes.
And you have a very solid past and culture, and here you are in a new country, new land that you be prophet, the new thing. And so that's, I believe that's what the unique about the show. We have yet to talk about Quy Nguyên. Any of you know anything about Quy, the writer of the show?
Quy Wing is a genius. I have to say that my personal perspective. For him to use a modern day speaking syntax to display and tell a story about our people and make it funny, emotional, sad, and thought-provoking. That's just wonderful, especially being Vietnamese. And then to for the young people, why you should be coming to watch a show is you're having Vietnamese tell a story about Vietnamese, but on a way that you're like talking to a friend.
Right.
It's not we're not teaching, we're not forcing anything on you.
Right.
We're letting you listen to us tell a story about this Vietnamese journey, this universal journey,
right,
about people.
I heard that, I read somewhere that Quy, once they get to United States and when they get to the refugee camp, he already beginning to know what the parent has, which is lost war and lost a lot of loved one in the family, and exiled to a totally strange country. And so he wanted to do something about it in terms of telling the story or whatever, but he realized that he was not mature enough to have that kind of thinking to do the show. But then he decided to write the show because he doesn't want his parents not seeing his work. I don't know if you heard about that or I read somewhere about that, and I said, oh my God, this is a dream child. Yeah. And this is a child that make his parents proud. And so, and now, not only his parents proud, we're all proud. I mean, American or not American, this is something so humanity, right? So personal, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but so far, how many CD the show have shown already?
I mean, since its premiere in 2015, it's played up and down the West Coast. I think it's done San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Oregon, maybe one other. And then it's played New York, in DC, in Boston, in Chicago. It was in Arkansas.
All the main cities.
At Theater Squared, nearby where Fort Chaffee refugee camp actually was. It's playing here. It's being done in Florida right now. Actually, there's a production going on.
I see.
So about 15, and then there's some more slated for later. So it's one of the most produced regional plays being produced regionally in general. Yeah. This season and the last few seasons.
And we forget to remind people that the show is at LA Theater in downtown Houston. You all know where the LA Theater is. We don't have to even tell you the address. Okay, so let's say before we say goodbye.
Folks, you'd be missing on something very historical and very monumental if you don't show up to watch the show. We close November 3rd.
Yes.
Come before that, because that'll probably
all
be
right,
full.
Edward. Your turn.
It's so important for these stories to be told, for people to understand where they came from, and for other people to understand where other people come from. And in this time of, it's reflecting the refugee experience. Yeah. And it's humanizing it. It's giving power to the refugee story. And it's also the first story of its kind. It's the first play. It's an all-Asian cast, and that's so rare as it is. It's definitely the first time it's being done down here in Houston.
Yeah. So come and see the show. That's bottom line, right?
Strong Asian stories.
Yes, thank you so much, Edward and Viet. And we will see you on the show.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Phan Dị xin cảm ơn quý khán thính giả đã theo dõi chương trình. Thưa quý vị, đây là một cái vở hài kịch mà quý vị không thể nào thiếu sót được. Vậy và quý vị liên lạc với LA Theater để lấy ticket. Cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi chương trình và xin hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình đặc biệt kỳ tới.